I'd say when I was younger, I had a fairly mechanical view of ageing. It was almost like, you know, those clockwork toys. You know, you turn the key, you know, and gradually they slow down. And that's what I observed happening in my family and around me. So that's what I thought, you know, you slow down as you get old, you know. You give up on some things when you get old. Yeah. And I was a bit scared of it. I think when I got around my late 40s or 50s, around that period, you know, there were little things that started happening with my health, you know, which before I could always just take for granted. All of a sudden, you know, my cholesterol went up and they told me my bones were thinning and you know, my kids were leaving. I was a single parent by then, and they were all not only leaving home, but they were leaving where I live, you know. They went to the big cities, and I just thought, oh, you know. And there was also in my workplace a sense of, I don't know whether it was there or whether, well, actually it was, because it was more in tourism and things where there was a lot of glamour and, you know, it was very youth culture, and I started to feel a bit old and overweight and not attractive, you know. So that I'd say was a low point, and I dwelt there for a little while, just getting very nervous of the future. With age, you get perspective. And I think the other great thing that's happened is meeting all these amazing friends who are older and working with the joy of ageing, and also getting involved in online groups. I mean, there was this one online group of women, mainly in their 70s. And I thought, my goodness, this is just like being with a group of girls. They were just so much fun, you know. It just cracked me up with the things they said and how upfront, and you know, there was like no subject taboo. And I thought, wow, you know, if this is 70, bring it on. And I'm getting very close to there now, so I must say I'm looking forward to it, because my before of that was an aunt said to me, she said, oh, once you hit 70, it's like your body starts breaking down, you know. And I thought, oh, you know, so I'm in my 60s, you know, I'm 69, I'm in a bit of a panic, you know, to try and get things sorted. But what I saw and what I've learned from women in their 70s and now understand is that you've got to look at the big picture, that life isn't just this life. I feel like going back with that, you know, because I always had this perception, I couldn't quite imagine what happens when we die, you know. It was very clear to me that, like, we are energetic beings. That was very clear to me, right from a young age. But I still couldn't imagine what happens when you don't have a body. You know, what would it all look for? Now I don't actually even particularly worry about that. I just, because I now know that there's more than one life. So this is just part of the big life where we're learning. You know, there is a purpose for us being on Earth. I never knew what the purpose was, but now I know there is a purpose, and that purpose is to learn to not be here. So now when I think of the 70s and think of whether I'm going to get illnesses and things go wrong, my perspective is, well, it's just clearing. It's my body clearing some pattern of belief or whatever that I have taken on, and it's making space for more of me, the essence of me, rather than this physical body of me. And I also have had the blessing of having parents who lived long, and I have seen them start to shed a lot of, you know, beliefs and things that sort of held them quite tight when they were young, or middle-aged even, and that, and just start to be quite light with being themselves. And that gives me, well, it shows me the way, actually. You know, my father died very gracefully. He showed me the way. I just saw him feel, you know, there was some particular members of his family that he liked, but he was quite critical of some of their behaviours because it wasn't the way he thought things should be done. And I heard him just in a couple of days before he died, when he actually saw this brother, say, you know, he's a very good man. He has such a kind heart, you know, and appreciate the warmth of this man that was his brother. So the transformations that people can undergo as they age is amazing, and it gives me courage, and it's taken away my fear of death, actually.